Welcome in, everybody. A busy news morning. We started with the Fox News alert, a deadly and horrifying scene at an air racing event in Reno, Nevada. We're about to show you a plane crash. In fact, I think just did, crashing full speed into a crowded grandstand. We warn you, again, the video may be a bit disturbing. It was brief, but that flash on the left side of the screen was the plane heading straight in.
I think that you could see it, and you could see how fast it was going. This was an air race show where the planes fly around. They race each other in the sky at 400 miles per hour. Our Fox's Adam Housley is live in Reno with the aftermath and all of the details. What's happening at this hour, Adam?
Yeah, Allison, that's just one clip of video. There's a number of videos out there and all sorts of pictures coming in that's going to help with this investigation, help give investigators an idea of where to go as they are already on the ground here. In fact, they have an area about the size of 2 football fields cordoned off. That's where the investigation is going on right there. That's where the crash, of course, and the aftermath of the crash is sitting. They also have all these pictures and video coming in. One picture we want to show you shows the back part of the plane, the very, very back edge where the trim tab is on the elevator. Now, I've been told by pilots that necessarily wouldn't bring a plane down, but remember, this plane was doing 400 miles an hour. It was doing basically stunt flying as it was part of this race. It yanked up as he pulled it up out of the race, which is normal protocol when there's a problem. He called for a mayday, and then he went down straight into the ground. Now, there's all sorts of there were eyewitnesses, as you know. We've heard from a number throughout the evening here, now early morning in Reno, and here's just one account of what was seen yesterday evening.
People are cut in half. The propeller was spinning full bore when she came in. It wasn't slow. There's a crater over there. I'd say it's about 6 feet deep, 25, 30 feet wide, 40 feet long. And it's in the center of the grandstands. And on the other side of the grandstands where the display planes are, there's shrapnel all the way down that far to that quite a ways.
The P51D Mustang was the Galloping Ghost, as it was called, was piloted by 74-year-old Jimmy Leeward. We're told by his family and friends overnight he was not someone who took risks. He was someone who obviously was a very good pilot, had been flying for years. That plane, guys, we know, has been flying in air races since 1946, that exact same plane under different names, and he's been piloting for years. So it's something that definitely has stunned people here in Reno, and as the investigation goes forward, we expect to hear more casualty numbers. Right now, it's still only 3, thankfully, that have been killed, but 15 serious, maybe 50, as many as 50 taken to the hospitals. Those numbers expected to be solidified when they have a press conference later on this morning. Back to you in New York.
That's right. And we do know that so many people still are in critical condition this morning. Adam Housley, thanks so much for the update.
Yeah, joining us now on the phone is actually my father-in-law, who was there, Tom Del Conte. He was actually in the grandstands about 150 feet away from where that plane crashed just yesterday afternoon. Tom, I know you didn't probably, as we were texting this morning, get any sleep at all last night.
Yeah, it's been a tough morning, Clayton, but and a very horrifying event that we went through. As you know, I'm a pilot also, so I have a bit of a perspective on some of the things that went on. But as I heard on your broadcast earlier, the guy, the pilot, and it's typical for people to ascend immediately any kind of an issue. They pull up and get out of the brace and go straight up. And altitude's your friend. You want to get that altitude underneath you so you have time to deal with things. So once she pulled up, the plane began to do somewhat of a barrel roll. Now, I want to say that the race happens about 1,000 feet in front of the grandstands, so there's a good margin. And usually when they pull up, always, I mean, this has never happened before, this is quite an anomaly, but as they pull up, as he pulls up, somehow during the barrel roll, he drifted over the crowd, which is very odd. And when he did this inversion and drifted over, then he began to nosedive, and he was heading straight down, Clayton, for Debbie and I. And at 400 feet, we could see him coming straight at us. It was just horrific. And we're thinking to ourselves, okay, this is it. And then he miraculously, and this is to his skill sets, did an excellent job of trying to make it to the tarmac. You can see in the videos that you have, there's this huge tarmac out to the east, and that's the direction that the race takes place. And to his credit, and very unselfishly, did everything that he could possibly do to make it off of that. As I said, we were at the very top of the grandstands. So he, at 400 feet, was heading at us. At 200 feet, was heading maybe 30 rows in front of us. And by the time he made impact, he was at the front row.
Wow,
and,
amazing.
15 feet further, he would have been on the tarmac and clear of everything.
Tom, that is amazing. So this pilot may have saved dozens, perhaps hundreds of lives. You as a pilot, have you seen the shot that they took of the tail of the plane with a part missing? It appears to the novice that if something had been chipped off, would that cause the type of accident that we saw?
You know, I think at those speeds, at 400 miles an hour, that type of thing could have caused it. He didn't know what was going on when he immediately began to pull up, and he may not have understood the barrel roll. And like I said, altitude's your friend. If he could have achieved another, 1,000 feet, what you do is you take that speed, that 400 miles an hour, and you convert that into altitude by pulling up. And as you pull up, obviously you go slower. And if he could have converted that into the altitude, then he possibly could have recovered, and even with that issue. But he found that he had, it appears to me, and this is just my speculation, it appears to me that he found he had enough control and identified the controls that he had in the plane, because obviously he'd lost some control. He identified the controls that he did have left and used those controls to avoid the crowd to the extent that he possibly could.
Well, Mr. Del Conte, we're so happy that you and your wife are okay, though you did experience this terrifying and traumatic ordeal. Thanks so much for telling us about it this morning.
Yeah, Tom, I'm glad that you're safe. Give my best to the family, and I know you haven't gotten any sleep, so try to get some. Thanks so much, Tom.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. Okay.
Terrific insight, Tom. We really appreciate it. I mean, I don't think anyone would have understood that he saved lives.
Right.
By
We had
doing
heard
what he
that,
did.
but I never
Yeah.
heard it explained. I mean, we haven't heard it yet explained this morning the way he did. Thank you.